African culture is increasing in other continents around the world. Mind you, for a long time before this time, we discovered that all the gods and goddesses of all the ancient world have African features. You look at them, they mostly look African. Apart from their dressing, even their look, their hair, they look African. And that is why there are informations out there telling you that, you know, all the gods of ancient times had African features or were African because of all these that I had pointed out. Now, the painful thing is that the reality we face by day, that we are losing our culture to other people and we are embracing other people's culture, which shouldn't be. Okay, now the average African woman would do everything to have a straight long hair, and as we see today in Asia, they are doing everything. The way Africans are using chemicals to straighten their hair is the same way that Asians are using chemical to make their hair kinky. They want their hair to become like Afro. They want it coiled. They want it to look like African. And Africans are wanting their hair to look like Asians and other parts of the world. That's the reality that we are faced with. And the truth is that most of all these things, we acquire them through the use of chemicals that have been mixed. And these people who own most of these products, they're not going to come out to tell you the truth. This is what our products contain. They will always tell you that, oh, we do not have any negative whatever in our product. But is that the truth? You're going to hear from the street soon. And let's just listen to this real quick because I do not want to take your time. Let's listen to this real quick.
So this is what has been going on in Japan for some time now, not just Japan, but the entire Asia. Whilst our people over here in Africa are taking all the meds from Japan and China just to lighten our skin, all in the name of skincare routine, these people are also adding chemicals to their hair just to make it look Afro.
You don't know.
Some people are even taking pills just to darken their skin like Africans. But it's not even working.
I'm telling you.
Straight hair to mimic Afro textured hair. It's become popular within the Asian community. Take a look at that. When I first saw it, I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Companies like Hippie Buddha use different techniques to create the illusion of curls, coils, and even locks.
As a black woman, you think about like, okay, well, they talked about our hair being nappy for so many years, or the kinkiness and the coily textures that we have, and then now all of a sudden it's in. They're not just doing the texture to it, they're also adding the dreadlocks to it.
In the past and currently now, you know, black wasn't so beautiful.
Absolutely.
The black hair especially wasn't so beautiful to others around the world and right here in this country, but now they're embracing it, almost mimicking.
Today, attorneys for a Missouri woman stood outside the Dirksen Federal Building. They allege in a lawsuit filed Friday against 5 companies that the companies' hair relaxers caused the woman's uterine cancer.
I am the first voice of many voices to come that will stand up to these companies and say no more.
Jenny Mitchell says she was 8 years old when she began using relaxer to straighten her hair. She says at 28, she had a complete hysterectomy.
I'm 32 years old right now, and I'm still feeling that void of not being able to bear my own child.
Imagine those many chemicals being placed on your scalp every 2 weeks or every month for 10 years. That's what we're facing here.
It is very heartbreaking to hear these accounts from these dozens and dozens of women that are calling us who have been diagnosed with uterine cancer at such young ages.
Mitchell's attorneys refer to a new study from the National Institutes of Health that found an association between uterine cancer and using relaxers, which may impact more African American women.
So there's a lot of different factors that play in, but unfortunately, uterine cancer remains a cancer with a very big disparity in outcomes.
Dr. Nita Lee is a gynecological oncologist with UChicago Medicine. And while she says more needs to be done on this issue, she says the study gives women information to consider.
So more women are dying of this cancer and being diagnosed with this cancer. So as a whole, raising awareness of like what we could be thinking about and looking for causes is extremely important.
Dr. Lee also shared this study shows the importance of having better minority representation in the sciences and in medical research studies.
All right, my kings and queens, those are the information, and the truth is that we are throwing out our culture by day, even in the heart of the motherland where the African culture should be celebrated, propagated, be proud of. We are living in the world or society where when you are African, you keep living African, you keep acting African, not just by name, but by deed, because these are two different things. You can be African by name, but your attitude, your actions, the way you appear do not look African. And that part is very, very important. But some of us think that it's just only when we are African by name that it is. Why can't we be African by deed, by the way we appear and everything? What is stopping us? A lot of times we are ashamed of our cultures. A lot of times we are ashamed of who we are, of our traditions, and that's why we get situations like this where we try our best to look Asian, we try our best to look American, we try our best to look, British, and at the end we discover that we are losing it all. Okay, the core part of ourselves, what makes us who we are throwing it away for nothing. And then, since we are throwing it away, others are picking it, and gradually they are becoming like you, and you are losing yourself at the process. And why is it that we as melanated people have come to this situation? Is this whole idea of everything African is bad, everything African is primitive. So we welcome that, okay? When people see that you are always looking African, they think that you are uneducated, okay? Always dressing African, like the way you look at me. They easily think that you are uneducated, and most of the time it's not even coming from the African Americans like you. It's coming from Africans within the continent. When they see you always being traditional, they think that you maybe are not educated, you've not gone to school, because if you're educated and you've gone to school, you should be dressing with a suit, okay? With a skirt and things like that. It's not like dressing on a suit or on a skirt is bad. No, that's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is that we should also embrace our culture. We are guilty of these things most of the times. I remember when we were growing up, during festive seasons and celebrations, we see other children, they go perm their hair, they relax their hair. And because of peer pressure, we pressurized my mom to, we also want to relax our hair. And that was when we went up to, I think about 12 years or so, we started perming our hair. Because we see other people doing same, because we want to belong. We don't want people to look at us like we don't know what we you get that. So we permed our hair as well, and when I reached the stage where I discovered the whole thing behind this behind the life itself, when I began to decolonize and I unlearned and began to relearn, began to rediscover myself, I decided to go bald. Like I shaved my hair. I shaved my hair and I started growing my hair from the root. And I tell you, it wasn't easy. No, it wasn't. Because people begin to look at me like, oh, she do not have the money to go, do the normal way that other women do. Maybe that's why she go bald. Oh, is she sick? Why did she cut off her hair? You know, things like that. So I had to lock my hair. And there are many Africans who believe that locking of hair is demonic. Like till today, it's not a story. This is reality. Okay, after I locked my hair, I was like, ah, you locked your hair. You know that kind of feeling. Why did she lock her hair? This is satanic. I had a friend who even, she was shocked. She was like, you of all people locked your hair. I said, what do you mean by that? She said, you are too neat for that. I see you as a smart, neat woman, and you went to lock your hair. So there are a group of Africans that feel like people that lock hair are dirty people. And I'm like, what do you mean? I locked my hair. I wash my hair always. I do. Why are you associating locking of hair with dirtiness? So it's locking of hair is associated with dirtiness, it's associated with demonic, with the devil, it's associated with all sort of evil things. So everything about our culture, we have demonized. Everything about our tradition, we have demonized. The way we dress, the way, the texture of our hair, it's demonized. So if you want to look like a child of God, you have to go perm your hair so that your hair will be straight like that of Jesus. That is how far we've gone, Your Majesties. This is no joke. Like this is a serious issue, and we are having this situation in the heart of the motherland. And the truth is that while we are trying to be European, we are killing ourselves at the process. For a fact. Now, like I told you, these companies, those who produce these relaxers and everything, they're not going to tell you the truth, what they use, the components, the ingredients that made up these products that they are selling to you. They are interested in making their money and their profits. That's for a fact. And a lot of women, a lot of African women are suffering from the same. There are some terminologies I don't want to use because of YouTube, but I believe you got the message as you should get it. That the more we are running away from our culture, other people are embracing our culture. And at the process, we are losing ourselves. The core of ourselves, Your Majesties. We are 9 ether beings. And we are throwing away this precious, gold that we have, that is the core of ourselves, and we are embracing something that is lower than us. For goodness sake, who does that? It's only the black man, it's only the black woman that do that. Like I said, at one point in time, we are all guilty of this thing. I was guilty of it at one point, thinking that when my hair is permed, that is when I look like someone who is educated, who had gone to school, and who, want to belong to the society, But I realized, and I had a U-turn, and it's not easy when you are realizing and then turning. You get, different talks here and there. But when you understand, you know where you're going, you know who you are, you know what's came together to make you. You will not be bothered by what people say. So it's a reminder that we should return back to what we are, to who we are. We should be proud of how we look. Not to bleach ourselves to show that we are, intelligent people. Not to keep perming our hairs and destroying ourselves from the inside. We're realizing at last that what we have is gold, is more than gold, and the rest of the world are after that which we have as the melanated man and the woman. I'm going to see you in my next one, Your Majesties. Until then, love yourself, love others, stay safe, stay positive, always, Your Majesties. Bye for now.